So today we will be building a Swoop bike together. Today we're going to be looking at the Hot Toys Swoop bike from the Mandalorian. This is going to be a pretty large piece, but I really wanted one for my collection. I'm a big fan of Scout Troopers, so I really wanted to upgrade mine with a Swoop bike, and when I saw a good deal on this one, I picked it up. As you can see, this box is absolutely ginormous, so I just left it sitting there for now in the light box. Once we get to the posing section of this video, I'm gonna get the Scout Trooper and the Mandalorian out and do some cool little Swoop bike poses with them. And down in the comments, let me know what your favorite scene is with the Swoop bike, whether it's from The Mandalorian, Return of the Jedi, like any scene with Star Wars. Even if it's that scene from Attack of the Clones where Anakin's just driving through Tatooine to go save his mom. And we all know how that turned out. So now let's just get right into the unboxing. As you all know, every good unboxing must start with the box, and yes, this is ginormous. Let's just quickly take a look at this box. We have a very nice image of the Swoop bike up top with, of course, Grogu in that little bag. There's actually a Grogu in a bag coming out that's actually life-size, which I don't know if it's this bag or not, but let me know down in the comments if you know which bag it is. That one looks cool, and I'm debating on picking it up. It's not 6 scale, so that's why I'm a little hesitant, but we shall see. Then it says Star Wars right here, and we have a wraparound banner with another cool Swoop bike image with no one on there, just looking pretty tough right there. This, of course, is TMS053 Swoop Bike 6 scale collectible vehicle. This is actually the first vehicle I'm adding to my collection. I did have the bat signal from the Batman, and that one's pretty cool. Not really a vehicle, it's just the bat signal. So yes, this is still my first 6 scale collectible vehicle I am adding to my collection. Moving to the side of the box real quick, we have a nice image of the Mandalorian riding that Swoop bike. Along the back is just a bunch of information. Then we have more words along this side. And it just says Star Wars on the top and bottom. Now let's try to get this giant box open on camera. Gonna be a little interesting. It's kind of huge. Luckily, I moved the camera out of the way so I can actually open it. And there we go. We have an image of the Mandalorian just one-handed his ginormous blaster there. And we got little Grogu just chilling. This artwork is very, very nice. Yeah, I actually really like how that looks. That is an awesome pose for him. Might have to try to recreate it. Well, we'll see. I may just do some simple poses, but we'll see when we get there. So stay tuned to the end to actually see the poses. And I guess they had to remind you that the Mandalorian collectible figure is not included. Now we can see that Swoop bike in there. Let's go ahead and get this out. Okay, so there's a bottom half. Good to know. So I got that plastic out. Now let's get this out. And yep, that looks like the base right there. Nothing else in the box. Okay, now I could reposition the camera a little to get a better view of this. Let's just unbox this base real fast. There's not much in here, so I can unbox it on camera for you guys. And that was a lot of noise considering I thought it was just a base. Okay, yeah, so we have a little flight pole in there. Looks like we have 2 wires. Not sure what they are yet, but they feel like real metal, so that's nice. Then we have whatever this is. Okay, yeah, that's a long screw. Cool. Probably for connecting the Swoop bike to the base or something. Then, of course, we have that base itself in here. Yep, that already looks awesome. All right, so I set those accessories to the side, and now let's unbox the actual Swoop bike. Let's get this open. Hopefully, you're not annoyed by all those scratching plastic sounds. Apologies if you are. And here we go. We've got the Swoop bike. Let's just, I guess, take this piece of it out and take a look. This looks very good. Seat doesn't look very comfortable. Looks like it's just duct taped all dirty and stuff. Got the nice pedals. Wow, this looks good. Of course, there's 2 pieces, another piece in there. But we do get another Grogu. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a Grogu comparison once we get to, I guess, the figure section. So yeah, got another little Grogu. Now what I'm going to do is take all these accessories, lay them out, and we'll take a closer look. So today we will be building a Swoop bike together. Before that, let's just look at the accessories, see what we got. This is technically an accessory, another little Grogu. We'll do some comparisons with him coming up in a little bit. But as always, he looks very cute, very good. Then I recently reviewed that Indiana Jones, and he came with a cool looking bag, and I guess Hot Toys was always good with bags. Let's look at these. Looking at this one first, you can see the buckles. There's like a nice little cogwheel looking thing, some little wires. Yeah, this is a nice looking bag. I really like that kind of coyote brown color. And then there's like straps, which, you know, got some Velcro so you can actually strap it to the bike. Then of course, this is actually the bag that Grogu goes into. So you want to like pull these little belt pieces through the actual buckle to open it. So do that carefully. Push this bottom piece up, like kind of work it up and then like pull it out kind of like that. And then, yeah, then it just pulls out easily. So do that for both sides. And once you do that, you have an open bag. I'm opening it now because I'm always going to leave it open. I'm always going to have Grogu on this Swoop bike. So yeah, it's empty right now, but you can grab your little Grogu and just put him in the bag. And there you go. Got Grogu in a bag. Then the other Swoop bike bag, also nicely detailed, got a little grill looking thing here, the buckle, the whatever that is. Yeah, coyote brown as well. This one though doesn't seem to open. You don't really have any reason to. They did put like a block of something in there, probably a little foam block to actually like pad it out. So that's nice. We'll put on the Swoop bike once we get there. Then I actually am a pretty big fan of the base that it comes with. It's very nicely detailed. You can feel all that kind of like sandy texture in there. You got a bunch of like rocks, and each rock is like nicely detailed. They're all kind of like jagged. There's like little weathering in them, and just, yeah, this is a very, very nice looking base. You of course get a flight pole with this, so you can actually mount the actual bike to this base. It just screws in like so. Then once that's in there, nice and secure, don't over tighten it. You don't want to break anything. Then you have the base ready. Now let's look at the Swoop bike itself. This, you can tell, is massive. I'm like holding my arms way out here trying to get it all on camera. The seat for me is a standout. It feels like actual like duct tape, but not like the best duct tape. Just like, yeah, this is like a messed up seat. They just like strapped around so you can actually sit on it without, I guess, sitting on metal or something. This thing is very, very dirty. You can see all the scratches, scrapes, and dirt like all up on it. And look at this. This is like super rusty. And you see all the pieces. You got like these little pipes going places. The footrest is very nice, very dirty as well. I actually really love that. Just be careful as well, because a lot of these are kind of like loose feeling. Like if you bend it quick or something, it's gonna snap off. So be very careful with every little piece on here. It's all a little bendable, but yeah, just don't go dropping it or anything like that. Yeah, this is very, very good looking. This back here is where the actual backpacks goes. So we'll do that coming up soon. But man, yeah, I actually love how this piece looks. Then here is the front part of the Swoop bike. You can see the handles right here. I did notice picking this up that the left one is a bit looser than this right one. So be careful. Hopefully I didn't damage it or it's not already broken or something. It should be okay. There's like little wires that are pretty bendable coming off of them. And honestly, once you get it in their hand or a pose or something, it's going to stay anyway. I don't know if you can see it too well, but the handles are very nicely detailed. You can tell they look like actual rubber. And then, yeah, all this is so dirty. You see that like rusting and chipping all down the side of it. And this part is like super duper rusty. And I guess it comes off super easily. Yeah, it looks like there's just a magnet in there. This is super dirty. And yeah, I guess it just sits in there. So I did not break that. I did not panic about it at all. Then down here, you have like the covers that look so good with like the little bolts sticking out. Then like the inside's all rusty, and then you have the blasters on the end. Wow, this is great. They did an amazing job with all that detail in there. Then for the rest, it's like these two little pieces and then these two metal pieces. I don't know what they're for yet, but let's just go ahead and build us a Swoop bike. So it looks like the first step is actually taking this little piece off, taking this piece and actually sliding it into here on this piece. I hear a little cracking sounds. Hopefully that's normal, but yeah, it slots in there. You can see it just slides down. Yeah, it's working its way down. I don't know why it's cracking a little bit, but there, now I've got that in place. And actually it looks like the screw just slots in the top like that. Then of course, grab your screwdriver. I have this nice little precision screwdriver. So I'm just gonna screw it in place. And don't over tighten it too much. Just, yeah, there we go. It's like going into plastic. So you don't want to over tighten it and strip it or anything, but hey, there you go. Got that in place. And now it still rotates a little, which is fine. I believe that's how they steer. So there you go. Once that's done, you can just go ahead and put this little magnetic piece back in place like so. There we go. So now we've got the Swoop bike started. Already looks very good. Now it's showing to grab these little metal pieces, and these actually go kind of along the edges here. So let's see how that works. I can see here one just slots in. So we'll get kind of close here, and it's just like a friction connection. We'll go ahead and pop this in place like so. Don't worry if there's cracking sounds too much. I was hearing cracking sounds, so I was like, hopefully it's not breaking, but it popped in nicely. Then it actually looks like there's some foam up here I didn't take out yet, so let's get that foam out. All right, so that foam is gone, and this actually connects down here. You see this other little piece? So let's pop this one in. Yeah, it looks like mine, it's a little too far, so just rotate the actual Swoop bike to the side a little, and then it'll fit in for you. Now it's aligned, and bam, popped right into place. Now let's go ahead and do the other side. So now that I have experience doing it on the other side, let's try to do this one fully on camera for you. So we got that in there, push it in till it pops like so. Then go ahead and get this other end, kind of, you need to, angle the swoop bike again, which I need to angle it to the other side. Go ahead, line it up, and bam. Both are popped in nicely. Now you can see the two real metal wires on the bottom, and yeah, looks great. So now you can still kind of articulate it a little bit, and dang, you see that when it moves, it like, that's actually really cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that little detail. So it looks like these little pieces are little guards for the actual footrests. So let's grab one and see how it goes on. It looks like the guard goes this way and it just slots into these little pieces here. So it's kind of rectangular. You see that rectangular shape. So get that rectangular piece. I'll get the side facing you guys first in. Then go ahead and get the other side and make sure they're both slot in there. Don't put too much pressure on these. These feel very, very delicate. So just make sure they're both slot in place and you should be good. You can of course articulate these little footrests, but yeah, the guards are in there now. And just do the same for the other side. Now what we'll do is get the bag in place. So goodbye Grogu, we don't need you in there now. The bags are gonna attach back here. Let's see, probably need to adjust the camera so I can actually fit it. Okay, so I moved it back a little bit. Yeah, you can see my screwdriver in there looking awesome. So what you wanna do is unvelcro these straps on the actual backpack. The straps are then going to kind of go underneath this little port here. I'll try to, in editing, zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Then, yeah, you get the straps there, and then the Velcro piece just sticks to the underside. So, yeah, it's a little delicate, hard to do on camera for you guys, but yeah, got like one strap partially attached, and now the other one is almost partially attached. Yep, there we go. Okay, yeah, there we go. Had to move which side it was in. So this one slide up here, this one slide down there. So I did some little adjustment just to make sure the Velcro is lined up for both. And hey, there you go. Got one backpack on. And the next backpack actually looks a little complicated. It's like all these loopy kind of bands. So let's see how that goes on. Yeah, I'm trying to get the camera kind of close. So this is gonna be interesting. Hopefully you guys can still hear me well because I'm bending down. So you take the band with the Velcro face now, and then you wrap it kind of, hopefully I'm not in the way, underneath this little piece here. Once you have it wrapped the first time, you want to wrap it around a second time. Hopefully I'm not blocking everything. Once it's wrapped a second time, you want to pull it up and just Velcro it to the back of the bag right here. So we got one on. Now we'll take the other strap and go ahead and do the same thing for this side. And there we go. Getting the Velcro in place is a little difficult, but I think that's good. Yeah, it's a little up actually. Okay, no, so I was still kind of wrong. The straps go up and then they go down and Velcro in place. You still see the Velcro sticking out a little. I'll probably adjust it to try to hide it, but yeah, that's basically what you do. This bag's a little complicated, but yeah, you'll get it in the end. So now what we want to do is go ahead and grab the base, and underneath the swoop bike, you'll find this little friction hole here. This hole just slots right over the top of this base. I didn't even notice the first time, but this base is kind of like a little more like hexagonal shaped. That's the right shape. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, so it's a little frictiony, so you can actually just slot it in the hole here. Go ahead and align it, and then just gently, I said, slot it into place. Okay, I heard creaking, but it moved in, so I think that's good. And now we have built ourselves a swoop bike that is basically too big for my light box here. There we go. A little more manual, but yeah, that looks incredible. So now I'm gonna move out of the way and let's do a little Grogu comparison. So here is the Grogu lineup. This one is from my Chrome Mandalorian. This one is from my Deluxe Luke Skywalker from the Mandalorian. Then this one is from the Swoop bike. So they all actually look a little bit different. The two closest are the one that come with the Mandalorian and the Swoop bike one, but you can already see the difference. The bodies are very, very similar, if not the same, but with these ones, there's no articulation in the hands or anything. You can't swap them out. But the heads, of course, you can you know, move him around a little bit. But the main difference is the face. So you can see he's a bit more concerned on the Mandalorian one, but he's having the time of his life on the swoop bike one. This one here is definitely 100% my favorite Grogu expression. I only have 3 Grogus. As you can see, you don't have the Ahsoka one yet, although I kind of want to pick up that Ahsoka. But then again, there's Ahsoka the White, which looks very cool. So we'll see which one I end up getting in the future. Probably her though, because, you know, I'm always building that Rebels display. But the cool thing about these is if you really want to, you can just pop the heads off and swap them all around, which is nice because this Grogu here is the Luke Skywalker one. He is actually basically the same as the Mandalorian one face-wise. You see that? Literally identical. But he's better body-wise because you can actually move his arms up and down. You can put them down, like move them around. He comes with swap-out hands as well. So there's a left and right kind of more grippy hand for both, but then there's also a kind of more reaching hand for both. So there's some more customization with this Grogu. And since it's my favorite Grogu, if I wanted to, I could pop off that head sculpt, go ahead and grab my favorite head sculpt and just do this. Bam. And now I have a happy Grogu that I can articulate. So that is pretty awesome. So now you can have happy Grogu. And honestly, even like that, although his hands are a bit messed up, he looks amazing. But let me put his head back on the right one. Go ahead and put him on the one that's going to go in the bag. I may in the future move it because where I'm going to put this Grogu, which is in the bag on the swoop bike, you're not going to see him a ton. He's going to be a little bit lower on my shelf in my trooper display. But if I really like it, maybe I'll put the Mandalorian permanently on the bike. We'll find out. But now we've looked at, oh man, almost forgot. This guy's just, whew, okay, we saved him. Yeah, now we've looked at all 3 Grogus. So now I can take this one and put them on the swoop bike. So another cool thing I actually need to show you guys, I did purchase a deluxe version of that Chrome Mando, and I completely forgot that all this stuff he came with, you can actually put on the swoop bike. I was saying I want this as a Scout Trooper upgrade, but honestly, I'm getting like closer and closer to needing to put this with my Mando because putting this on the back of the bike is gonna look awesome. So let's actually do that real quick. But first, you know, the swoop bike, he's got the swoop bike handle that he attach everything to. So I am going to have to take this stuff off in order to attach it to the bike. But yeah, it's going to be worth it, I hope. Yeah, I'm thinking the Mandalorian might be taking this swoop bike. Look how all his gear sits on the back. You got Grogu, then you have the deluxe edition stuff stacked up on there. Now I am so glad I got the deluxe edition. When I first got it, I was like, dang, what am I going to do with all this random stuff? This broken swoop bike handle and then the like bags, Boba Fett stuff. Now I've got the perfect display option. So there's 2 bags right here. One smaller one, it's actually magnetic. I didn't realize that it's magnetic, so it attaches to this one. Then this one you actually strap down, which includes strap with the Mandalorian to the actual swoop bike. Then hanging off this bag is Boba Fett's helmet and jetpack. Then, you know, we already saw Grogu's in his little bag. Then you can actually line up his Sand People Demolisher right here. That ginormous rifle, it just sits there perfectly. And if you want to, I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do it, but you can even put his jetpack like on the back behind the actual seat right there, and it looks incredible. So let's move into the posing section now. I'm gonna put the Scout Trooper on it, but this isn't his. He's not getting this. First up, I put the Scout Trooper on the swoop bike. And yes, you would be correct if you're telling me that no, that's not what the Scout Trooper uses. He uses the speeder. And yes, I know they made a Mandalorian and like speeder from, or like a Scout Trooper and speeder combo from Hot Toys, but I don't have that one. It's sold out where I was looking at least. That one's super cool, but I kind of like this swoop bike and I got a pretty good deal on it. So, you know, the Scout Trooper still looks great on it. But I have to admit though, after putting those pieces on the back of the bike and testing it out, I think I'm going to give this to the Mandalorian. He's going to look great with this swoop bike. But yeah, he looks great. For this first pose with Mando, I absolutely love this. He's just chilling right next to his swoop bike, just leaning on it a little bit. This looks incredible. Like, man, even like having his cape like up in the winds. Don't worry, the next pose, I'll have him actually riding the swoop bike. I'm going to do 2 more. I'm going to have him on the swoop bike with both hands in position. Then I'll also have him kind of on it, shooting off to the side. This looks great though. Yeah, the Mandalorian, this is his swoop bike. I know technically the speeder is what the Scout Trooper has, but I kind of was thinking, yes, it's big and I have room down there, so I'll put him with my Scout Trooper. But no, after seeing this, this is the Mandalorian's. He is taking this home. Here's another awesome pose of the Mandalorian on the swoop bike. I will say though, trying to get his hands into position is a little difficult. You gotta like really bend his legs and then the armor kind of jams into his suit and Yeah, I didn't really like putting him on the swoop bike like this. Honestly, that pose where he's just chilling next to it might be what I go for in my collection. I'll have to see how it turns out, but yeah, it actually looked really good. I'm gonna do one more pose and then I'll give you all my final thoughts. For the final pose, yeah, the Mandalorian is whipping that thing around a corner. So I bent the bottom a little because, you know, you can articulate it. You can kind of have the little base of the actual, that's holding up the swoop bike like tilted and stuff. It looks pretty awesome. So I have it tilted a bit. He's aiming his little blaster and just taking out whoever the heck is in his way. Probably the scout trooper. Yeah, this swoop bike's awesome. It belongs to the Mandalorian. That's who's gonna take it. So going into my final thoughts, I originally wanted to give this to the scout trooper, but they always have speeders and it didn't make too much sense. And with all the stuff I can put on it, it just looks so good with the Mandalorian. I'm gonna have to make quite a bit of room in my display for it, but it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna look amazing. I have to debate between putting them on it like this. I guess it depends on the room, or having them lean against it. I'm leaning towards, well, no pun intended, but I'm leaning towards having them lean on it because it looks really cool when I put them in that pose, honestly. It looks so good. I have to say though, if you can get your hands on a swoop bike and you have the room for it, because that's the big factor here, having the room for it. If you don't have the room, then yeah, don't worry about it. It's really big, it's not necessary. But if you have the room and you want to have it, then get it. It's awesome. So that's basically all I have to say. If you want the swoop bike, get it. If you don't, don't. It's really well put together. It's worth the money. But the big downside is some people won't have room for it. But that's the point. It's a vehicle. It's ginormous. So let me know down in the comments what you think of the swoop bike. Is it one that you need for your collection, or is it just too big? I'm excited to, I guess, reorganize my shelf, and you'll see that in this week's little collection update. So until then, make sure to give this video a like, hit subscribe because we have tons of fun over here. I look forward to talking to you all again very soon, and until then, stay 6 scale.